So globally, what's happening is we're having a structural shift in how people are living. And there's this massive change in urbanization that's happening. We're going from a world that's 30 to 40% urban to 70% urban during our lifetimes. People are therefore moving in cities and thinking about how they want to live in urban settings in higher density. So because of that, there's a huge need for additional housing that's community related, that also caters to a globe-trotting citizen that's a young professional that wants to also move between cities. And so that's really what we're trying to cater for at Node. Well, it's just like thinking about, well, what do people want when they want a car? There's a lot of people who want different things. Some want a convertible, some people want a minivan, some people want luxury. And so I think diversity is really important in the market. Different people want different things. And so young professionals who are maybe traveling the world more will have a different product that they want than young families who want to live also an urban experience. So that's the main thing that I think the market needs to adapt to. No, I think that's why we're calling the sector build to rent. There really hasn't been purpose-built living outside of housing associations that have been built for young professionals. It's been an informal market, mainly through the buy-to-let sector. So we've had individual landlords catering to it, but we haven't really thought about it in an institutional way to tackle the issue and to provide something that customers want. Well, there's real challenges for the smaller scale. I think if you're on the bigger scale, whether you're a large private equity fund or a large association, there's capital markets available, there's PRS funding schemes available, there's usually large banks that can do the work to understand the product. When you take that and you transpose it onto the smaller end of the scale, so the smaller developers, you just don't have a lot of those capital routes. So what's happening is a lot of smaller developers are getting forced into the gray market, the debt fund market, where it's higher cost of capital, which ultimately goes back to the tenant in terms of what rent you're going to have to charge them. And so there needs to be a change there, and that's from changing the way we treat slotting and the way banks have capital treatment, because small developers get a worse rating than a large developer, for example, and so those things feed through to financing costs, which are not really helping the smaller developers. Well, there's definitely a need for housing of all sorts, and I also think there's a need for mixed housing, and so the idea that we just have to build for one age cohort is not necessarily, I think, healthy. However, having said that, if we're going to live in urban areas where there's lots of product around and it's best to have specialized buildings for senior housing because there's special needs and special kit that you need for a product like that, and at the same time co-living spaces, student housing, having different amenities that are relevant for them, I think all of those are part of the solution of what's needed.